This is absolutely delusional, as a brand new trade report has just dropped revealing a shocking return for the Phoenix Suns in regards to the Giannis Antetokounmpo sweepstakes in a three-team deal. And we're going to go over exactly what this shocking return is for the Phoenix Suns, as well as a look at tonight's game against the Houston Rockets and a little look at the injury report and some comments from head coach Jordan Knott and Mark Williams, who was not in attendance for the first matchup of the season against the Houston Rockets. But guys, before we get into everything, we noticed that 98.4% of you are not subscribed. So please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Comment down below about how you feel about the Phoenix Suns this season and their game in Houston tonight. We sit at 2,890 subscribers, and we are trying to hit 3,000 by Christmas time. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, guys. But let's get into all this news today, guys. We have a trade report here from the official NBA trade report account, which gives, semi-realistic mock trades for teams that are within need of specific positions or when there's a big superstar like Giannis Antetokounmpo on the market. So let's take a look here from the top. We see that New York receives Giannis Antetokounmpo, Dillon Brooks, and Grayson Allen. Milwaukee would receive Jalen Green, OG Anunoby, Mark Williams, multiple first-round picks, as well as multiple second-round picks. And then we have the Phoenix Suns there at the bottom, who receive Karl Anthony Towns, Kyle Kuzma, and Pacome Diadep. Now, excuse me if I'm saying that wrong, but overall, looking at all three teams here, we have to look at this. I want to look at this from the perspective of each team here. I want to start from the top where New York is. And of course, they get Giannis Antetokounmpo, and in my opinion, they kind of immediately just win that trade there. That makes them an instant, I want to say, top four contender for a championship in the NBA with a duo like Jalen Brunson and Giannis Antetokounmpo, and they still have Mikal Bridges there on the team, and as well as Dillon Brooks and Grayson Allen adding a lot of guard depth to that already very guard-heavy bench rotation, but I do think that it remains keeping them a contender in the Eastern Conference and just overall in the NBA to whoever they match up with in the NBA Finals. And then we look at the Milwaukee Bucks, who get Jalen Green, OG Anunoby, Mark Williams, multiple first-round picks, and multiple second-round picks. And I think that's a really good return for Milwaukee. They get, of course, a young guard in Jalen Green who has a really high floor. They have OG Anunoby, who's one of the best 3-and-D players in the NBA. They also get Mark Williams, who is having one of his better years in the NBA as well. Great rim protector, great rebounder, just a really good all-around center. And, of course, they get lots of draft capital, which is, probably primarily what they would want in a Giannis Antetokounmpo deal. And then at the bottom here, we have Phoenix, who seems to receive the shortest stick of this end of the deal. They get Karl Anthony Towns, Kyle Kuzma, and Pacome Diadep. Now, I know, guys, that Karl Anthony Towns and Devin Booker are good friends, and I'm sure that they would be very happy to play together. But, to get Karl Anthony Towns, Kyle Kuzma, and Pacome Diadep for giving up multiple, whatever draft capital that we have, we're giving away Mark Williams, Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and Grayson Allen. This is just an absolutely obscene mock trade that we have here. I don't know. Phoenix would never do something like this. They would not blow up the team. If they were going to blow up the team, I can see them making a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo and giving away some assets that we wouldn't love to see go, like Colin Gillespie, Dillon Brooks, Jalen Green, Ryan Dunn, Mark Williams, people like that. But to give up all of that for Karl Anthony Towns and Kyle Kuzma is, just overall ridiculous in my opinion. And Pacome Diadep, who I'm sure is just a part of that deal to fill a roster spot or compensate for salary. But overall, I think this trade is just ridiculous. I don't think it would ever happen. If it does happen, I think that Phoenix Suns fans should show up to the front office with pitchforks and torches. That would just not go over well with the fan base at all. It would never happen. They would never do it. You take a look at Karl Anthony Towns here, and we know who Karl Anthony Towns is. He's one of the best stretch bigs in the NBA, one of the best center forwards in the NBA, great floor spacer, overall a great offensive center in the NBA. Not the best defensive center, never has been. I just want to kind of take a look at overall how this would fit for the Phoenix Suns. And having Karl Anthony Towns on the Phoenix Suns, it'd be fine, I guess, but he would be the second option around Devin Booker. But again, this trade just wouldn't work out in the sense of that. And, you take a look at his stats so far this year, averaging 34 minutes per game, 23 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists. He's not even averaging a block per game. He's averaging 3 turnovers, which is pretty nuts as a center. He's also averaging 4 fouls per game. And as a center forward, he's only averaging around 47% from the field. Now, of course, I know he's not the most he doesn't have the highest volume as a center, getting in and around the rim. He's mostly a floor spacer, sticking out behind the three-point line, and probably just around the pure and the short and mid-range, maybe occasionally the long mid-range. But overall, I just don't think Karl Anthony Towns is going to fit this team. Now, speaking of Kyle, which I just said there, we talk about Kyle Kuzma, who, I don't even know what he's doing here, right? That's just never going to happen right now. He's not he's not doing the best in Milwaukee. I mean, he's certainly not doing bad. I mean, he's got okay shooting splits there, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, nearly a block and a steal. He's only averaging 1 turnover. He's got some solid shooting splits there as well, just putting up almost 50% from the field and 34% from 3. Kyle Kuzma's always been a super solid scorer in the NBA. He's always been like a consistent 20-point per game scorer when he was in Washington. I mean, you can see there he averaged 22 points per game at one point, and that was around his last year with the Wizards. But yeah, just overall, guys, I don't think that this trade would work out for the Phoenix Suns. Of course, I don't think that they would do it. I would really hope that they wouldn't do it. I think Brian Gregory's smarter than that. I don't think he would give up all of the assets on this team for, I think just pennies pretty much on the dollar there. I mean, they give up their entire team, Dillon Brooks, Grayson Allen, Mark Williams, Jalen Green, and of course they're giving up whatever little draft capital we already have. I mean, to give that up for that return is simply ridiculous, and I just kind of wanted to put it to bed there. If you guys did see it on Twitter, I think that this is absolutely ridiculous, and it just wouldn't work for the Phoenix Suns. But kind of just transitioning over to this game tonight against the Houston Rockets, I want to take a look at the injury report here. And now, the injury report for last game, Tari Eason was out for the last game, and of course, Fred VanVleet was also out, but so was Kevin Durant, and Dorian Finney-Smith was also out as well. And these are some key rotation players that are really impactful on this Rockets team, and it's going to make or break this game tonight. And Kevin Durant, of course, is making his return in Houston tonight, playing against his former team in the Phoenix Suns, and it's going to be a really fun matchup to see. And I want to take a look as well as the Phoenix Suns injury report here. Isaiah Livers is going to be out. Devin Booker, of course, is going to be out with his groin injury right now. And Jalen Green, of course, is also out with his hamstring. So going to be hard to have Devin Booker out tonight. I think I said earlier that he had a calf strain. I got that mixed up with the groin injury. But yeah, no Devin Booker tonight. That's going to be a tough one to see. Then the last matchup against the Rockets, he didn't play his best basketball. He shot 35% from the field, which is not what you want to see out of your number one option. But they did almost win that game against Houston. I mean, they really kept up with them throughout all 3 quarters, but they weren't able to seal the deal down there in the 4th quarter, which was tough to see. The Rockets were relatively unhealthy as well. They didn't have all of their starting rotation players in as well. But I mean, the 2 teams right now are relatively healthy. But of course, without Devin Booker, this is definitely going to be a tougher game to win for sure. But someone else who was missing from the Phoenix Suns there during this game was Mark Williams. And, he went on to say for this game that about the Houston Rockets, he said that their offensive rating is super high. Just got to make sure to rebound the ball really well. They've got scores, efficient scores, so you just got to do a good job in transition and make sure that you're making quality shots. And, Mark Williams obviously wasn't there for the first game against the Houston Rockets, and it definitely showed. His presence is always noticed when he's not on the floor there, especially in the rebounding department and, in the pick and roll. So it's going to be really important to have him there tonight and make sure that he's locking down Alperen Sengun. And Jordan also had some comments about Dillon Brooks there, saying, I assume that his juices will be rolling tomorrow night. And that's Suns coach Jordan on Dillon Brooks, who will play against the Houston Rockets for the first time since the Kevin Durant trade Friday night at Toyota Center, which will be tonight. He also said that Grayson Allen will be back in the picture. He also wasn't there for the first game against the Houston Rockets, and that definitely showed. We're definitely going to need his hustle and his floor spacing ability tonight, which is going to be key to winning this game. Jordan also had a comment about Devin Booker's injury there, and I thought I might want to share that with you guys because, it's very important that we make sure we keep the updates on him. But he said he knows his body better than anyone. Super self-aware. He kind of felt it right away. Hopefully just a minor strain, then to get it confirmed. I think that's kind of a relief for all of us. So, again, best case scenario for Devin Booker there with his groin injury. Of course, there was a great few off days here for the Phoenix Suns now, so it's going to be good to make sure that he's off and he's nursing that injury as best as he possibly can. But, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure to comment down below about how you feel about that Karl Anthony Towns return and trade. Pretty ridiculous in my opinion, if you ask me, but I want to get your thoughts and opinions down below as well. Comment down below about how you feel about the Rockets game tonight. And as always, guys, go Suns.